Isang magandang araw sa ating lahat. Sa araw na ito ay pag-uusapan natin ang lesson tungkol sa genetic engineering and the uses of genetically modified organisms. Ito ang pang-apat na lesson sa Module 2 ng Life Science ng Earth and Life Science. Specifically, pag-uusapan natin ang description kung paano ba nangyayari itong genetic engineering na ito. Nung nakaraan ay napag-usapan natin ang topic tungkol sa protein synthesis and genetic material at nalaman natin na ang genetic materials ay naglalaman ng characteristics, traits ng organisms, pwedeng nasa DNA or RNA ng mga organisms. Anong pagkakaiba nila? Well, ang DNA, ito ay double helical structure, ibig sabihin, dalawang strand na parang naka-twist na ladder. Samantalang ang RNA naman ay single strand. So, ano ba din yung purpose ng DNA sa ating katawan? So, ang DNA ay naglalaman ng mga codes na kung saan itong codes na ito ay ginagamit para ang ating katawan ay makapag-produce ng mga protina. At ang protina ay mga biological molecules that have many functions in living organisms. Pwedeng ang function ng proteins ay for building up of tissues, pwedeng muscles, pwedeng transport. Ibig sabihin, tagadala ng mga nutrients or certain chemicals papunta sa iba't ibang bahagi ng katawan, o pwede rin naman ang mga protina ay siyang mga chemicals or enzymes na ginagamit ng ating katawan sa chemical reaction na nangyayari sa loob ng ating katawan. So, paano ba nagiging protina ang DNA? So, mula sa DNA, may code yung DNA. So, yung code na ito ay lalabas sa nucleus sa pamamagitan ng pagkopya ng code using the mRNA, at itong mRNA na ito ay siyang i-decode para maging protein. So, nung nakaraan din ay meron tayong ginawa na simpleng activity to illustrate how protein synthesis happens. So, doon, sinimulang isulat ang mRNA mula sa DNA. So, laging tatandaan na sa pag-determine ng mRNA, ang adenine ay kapartner niya si uracil. Si cytosine naman, kapartner niya si guanine. At si guanine, kapartner niya si cytosine. At si thymine, ang kapartner niya ay adenine. So, mapapansin natin na pag RNA na siya, wala na siyang thymine. So, napapalitan ng uracil ang thymine. So, dahil alam mo na yung mRNA, so, madedetermine mo yung tRNA sa pamamagitan ng pagbasa or pag-match ng mga tinatawag nating nucleus or nitrogenous bases. So, from the mRNA, babasahin ito ng tRNA. So, paano mo malalaman yung amino acids? So, pag sinabi naman nating amino acids, ito yung building blocks of protein. So, may mga tatlong letters na mabubuo from the reading of the mRNA using the tRNA, at ito yung amino acids. So, from the amino acids, magkakaroon ng bulk of amino acids, and yung bulk na yun will start the chain of the forming protein. So, kung hindi pa tayo masyadong pamilyar, pwede nating balikan yung pinakang lesson at para mas ma-explain ng malinaw kung paano ba nangyayari itong protein synthesis na ito. So, pwedeng balikan yung previous video. Okay. So sa lesson natin ngayon tungkol sa genetic engineering and genetically modified organisms, mag-start muna tayo sa konting review or let's connect from the previous knowledge that we know or previous experiences na naranasan natin na sa tingin ko ay makakatulong para mas maintindihan natin ang lesson na ito. So you are to list the names of the members in your family. So you will ask them the following questions. Record their responses as yes or no. So titingnan lang ninyo kung kaya bang gawin ng parents or ng mga kapatid or ito bang mga characteristics or traits na ito ay kayang gawin ng mga family members ninyo. So number 1, kaya nyo bang i-roll yung tongue ninyo or yung parang nafo-fold yung tongue or yung dila. So number 2, do you have naturally straight hair? O kulot ka ba? Wavy ka ba? So pangatlo, do you have brown eyes? O maswerte ka na Pilipino ka pero ang kulay ng iyong mata ay kakaiba, pwedeng gray or lighter. Number 4, do you have attached earlobes? Yung bang earlobes mo, yung nilalagyan ng hikaw, ay nakadikit ba siya doon sa pinakang balat sa muka o medyo may space sa pagitan nila? Number 5, do you have good vision? Kaya mo bang makakita even without using eyeglasses? So after you have asked the questions, record their responses in the following table. And then we have some questions here. Number 1, what trait or traits is dominant among the members of the family? Pag sinabi nating dominant, ito yung mga traits na nangingibabaw sa lahat. For example, sa isang family, kulot lahat ng buhok nila. O kaya naman sa isang family, straight yung buhok nila. So, pag sinabing dominant, ito yung mas madami na nakikita na na-express sa isang pamilya o sa grupo ng mga magkakapamilya. Number 2, what trait or traits is less expressed among the members of the family? So, ano naman daw yung hindi masyadong na-express? So, sa biology, ang tawag natin dito ay recessive traits. So, number 3, are there any traits not likable or not desirable in your family? Meron ka bang sa tingin mo parang, itong karakteristik na to, parang ayoko nito Pero dahil yun ay nasa genes natin or nasa DNA natin, hindi siya basta mawawala. So, think of other traits not listed above. So, mag-isip pa kayo ng ibang traits. Pwedeng physical, pwedeng mental, pwedeng emotional. Kasi most of the traits that we have are actually dictated by the genetic material inside our body. So number 4, ito yung kailangan ninyong pag-isipan. Is it possible to modify the traits that you have written in number 3? Meron ba kayong mga na-identify na traits na parang hindi nyo masyadong gusto sa sarili ninyo? Yung number 4, tinatanong nito, kaya bang baguhin itong mga traits na ito? Or is there any way para itong mga traits na ito ay mabago? So, yan yung activity natin. Unang activity. Okay. So, sa next activity natin, we will try to show the process of inserting a trait na i-insert natin siya sa way na hindi natural. So, ibig sabihin, we are trying to do a scientific process na hindi natural. So, hindi siya the usual. So sa activity na ito, entitled Gene Splicing, we will illustrate how production of human growth hormone is done using recombinant DNA technology or genetic engineering. So, ito yung mga materials na gagamitin. Pwede nyong ihanda: long bond paper, scissors, clear tape, colored paper, ruler, and pencil. So, the procedure are the following. So, after you have read the procedure, ito yung gagawin. So, I'll present a short video showing the gene splicing activity. So, again, itong activity na ito will just illustrate paano ba nangyayari na yung trait na gusto mo ay magkakaroon ng mass production, or paano ba nagkakaroon na mapapadami itong trait na gusto mo. So, some information before I play the video. Dito sa gene splicing, gumagamit ng tinatawag natin na plasmid. Okay. So, plasmid. So, ano yung plasmid? So, yung plasmid, it is a circular loop within a bacteria. So, ano yung nilalaman nito? So, meron itong genetic material. So, hindi kagaya ng DNA na nasa loob ng katawan ng tao or ng isang organism, itong plasmid na ito ay kokonti. Ibig sabihin, maiksi. Yung composition nito ay na base pair or nitrogenous bases, ay hindi kasing haba ng DNA. Another term is called the restriction enzyme. So, the restriction enzyme, ito naman daw yung gagamitin para makat itong genetic material na ito. Pag sinabi naman nating enzyme ligase, ito naman yung magkakabit uli doon sa pinutol na genetic material. So, before we play, please pakibasa itong instruction na ito because there are information na makakatulong para mas maintindihan ninyo yung lesson. Ayan. So, ito'y karugtong nung activity. So, makikita natin sa illustration, let's say, ito yung human cell. So, yung human cell, of course, composed of many organelles, at yung central part is the nucleus. Nandun yung chromosomes, at yung chromosomes naman ay coiled DNA. So, yung DNA, nandoon yung gene na tinatawag ng nagsho-show or nagpapakita or nag-e-express ng trait or characteristic ng isang tao. So, mula dun sa DNA na yun, kinuha yung section expressing the growth hormone. And then, we have here the bacterial cell. So, ito'y bacteria. Anong kaibahan ng bacteria sa human cell? Siguro, isa nating pwedeng sabihin dyan is that the genetic composition of a bacterial cell is relatively lower or fewer than the human cell. So, itong nakikita ninyong circular thing na ito, this is the plasmid. So, ito yung ginagamit para insertan ng gene ng gustong i-produce. Sa example nga natin, it's the growth hormone. So, what you can see next is that the plasmid is cut open, and then the gene having the growth hormone is inserted into the plasmid. At ito na siya. So, ang tawag natin sa technique na yon is recombinant DNA technology. It is a process in genetic engineering na kung saan ini-insert ang desired trait sa plasmid. At anong gagawin after? I-insert back si plasmid doon sa bacterial cell. Now, bakit sa bacterial cell siya ini-insert? Since ang bacteria ay mabilis dumami, pag nag-divide ang bacteria or nag-multiply ang bacteria, mamumultiply din yung plasmid na may inserted growth hormone ng mas mabilis kaysa maproduce ng katawan ng tao or ng cell ng tao in the process of protein synthesis itong gene na ito. So, mas mabilis yung production ng desired trait na gustong i-produce. And then you have some guide questions here. I will leave that to you. Okay. So, ano yung mga information na hopefully nag-grasp natin? So, number 1, genetic engineering is the process of adding a foreign DNA to the genome of all genetic material of another organism. So, sabi ko nga kanina, sa genetic engineering, this is not natural. Meron ng scientific intervention. Kumbaga, pinapakailaman na yung genetic material ng isang organism, minomodify na intentionally yung genetic material ng isang organism because you want something or you want to modify something out of that organism. So the target of adding one or more DNA is to have one or more traits that are not found in a certain organism. So pag sinabi nating not found in a certain organism, hindi totally siya may express talaga because in the first place, yung kanyang DNA is already the blueprint. Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya magbabago. So, kung ano yung na-express doon sa organism na yun, those traits and characteristics are already dictated by the DNA. So, genetic engineering can also be a process of inserting or transferring a gene of a specific trait into another organism. So, yung process nga na yun is called recombinant DNA technology. So, recombinant DNA technology is the technique of combining two DNA sequences from different sources. So, napakita naman natin doon sa activity and na-explain natin a while ago kung ano ba yung process na recombinant DNA technology. So, ano yung goal nitong technology na ito? This technique is about cloning or producing a particular gene for analysis para pag-aralan or mass production para madami yung maproduce na particular trait or gene na yun of a medically useful protein product. So, ang isang example nito, even if madidiscuss siya later, is the insulin. Nowadays, sobrang dami, lalo sa Philippines, na nagsasuffer with diabetes. And some of the persons na mayroong ganitong condition ay dependent sa insulin. So, kung ang katawan natin ay hindi kayang mag-produce ng insulin, saan kinukuha ng mga patients or mga persons na may diabetes yung insulin na ini-inject sa kanila? So, ang isang process of producing that is recombinant DNA technology wherein the trait from the DNA na merong code ng production ng insulin ay ini-insert sa isang plasmid at i-insert sa bacteria at padadamin yung bacteria so dadami din yung insulin trait or gene na yon. So this technique uses a plasmid, usually from a bacteria, as a vector or delivery vehicle of the desired trait. So yun nga yun. So the gene is inserted, or the plasmid is inserted with the gene or a segment in the DNA that contains the desired trait. So again, a plasmid is a small circular double-stranded DNA molecule, roughly 1,000 DNA base pairs to hundreds of thousands of base pairs. Hindi kagaya ng isang DNA ng tao na sobrang daming base pairs, millions of base pairs. So when a bacterium divides, all of the plasmids contained within the cell are copied such that each daughter cell receives a copy of each plasmid. So yun nga, dahil madaling dumami ang bacteria, so yung gene na nasa loob ng plasmid will also be multiplied. Now, let's talk about genetically modified organisms. So, ano ba itong mga GMOs na ito, or genetically modified organisms? These are organisms or microorganisms whose genetic material have been altered to contain a segment of DNA from another organism. So, dahil sa advancement ng technology, kaya nang i-manipulate ng mga genetic engineers ang ilang organisms, particularly plants, for these plants to have a desirable traits. Madaming plants are seasonal. Pag sinabi nating seasonal, hindi siya all throughout the year na available. At pero kailangan siyang i-consume ng humans or animals. So what do genetically engineers do about it, about that concern? So they try to develop, example lang ito so they try to develop some organisms that even if they are not available all throughout the year, they can be available dahil na modify na yung genetic composition nila. So, kumbaga, nagiging hindi na seasonal yung pag-grow nila at pwede na silang mabuhay or mag-grow all throughout the year, or even magkakaiba yung mga panahon or season sa buong mundo. Okay. This is an example of the recombinant DNA technology. So, nabanggit ko to kanina about the insulin. So, the insulin production. So, paano nangyayari itong insulin production na ito? So, number one, scientists identify the segment in the DNA where synthesis of insulin is encoded, called the insulin gene. Number two, they use an enzyme to cut the insulin gene out of the DNA strand. So, sa number 2, natanggal na nila yung gene, insulin gene, mula dun sa DNA. So, what will scientists do? So, number 3, plasmid as container of the gene is removed from a bacterium. So, tinanggal naman yung plasmid mula sa bacterium. So, at the moment, meron na tayong insulin gene at meron na tayong plasmid. So, what will happen next? Sige, alalahanin nyo yung activity a while ago. So, ano kaya yung susunod na mangyayari dito? The plasmid is cut open. And then, insulin gene is inserted into the plasmid. And the enzyme ligase will connect or affix the insulin gene in the plasmid. The plasmid is inserted back or ibabalik sa bacterium at hahayaang dumami ang bacterium, and then pag dumami na yung bacterium, the insulin production happens dahil dumadami din yung plasmid na nandoon sa bacterium. At ano yung nasa plasmid? Yung gene ng insulin. If you have concerns or parang kulang itong information sa genetically modified organisms, huwag kayong mag-alala kasi meron tayong separate lesson, yung lesson number 5, that will tackle more about the genetically modified organism. So, sa lesson na ito, we are more focused on the process of genetic engineering and recombinant DNA technology. So, parang yung kanina lang din tungkol sa gene splicing, yung sa how is the production of growth hormone occurs. So, parang ganun lang din siya. And then, so these are the points to remember. So, number 1, ang mga organisms have different characteristics because of the variety of the genes expressed. So, no two organisms are exactly the same. Kahit yung kambal, yung mga kambal, they have different and unique characteristics amongst them. So, we have different characteristics, and that is because of the variety of the genes that are expressed. So next, the technology allows insertion of a desired trait to an organism through the process of recombinant DNA technology. So pagka daw mayroong isang characteristics that are not desirable or that is not desirable into that organism and you want to modify that trait, pwede ka daw mag-insert ng trait na yun dun sa organism na yun using recombinant DNA technology. But if you are asking me now, or if you're asking yourself and virtually asking me if that is possible sa tao, sa kasalukuyan, medyo complicated pa yung issue about that. Scientifically and within the process also, it's still very complicated at lalong-lalo na sa ethics, merong ethical issues itong mga topics na ito. So another thing na dapat maalala natin within this lesson is that genetic engineering is the process of adding a foreign DNA to the genome or all genetic material of another organism. Well, recombinant DNA technology, medyo paulit-ulit, pero okay lang yan para mas madali nating maalala, is the technique of combining two DNA sequences from different sources. And of course, genetically modified organisms are those organisms whose genetic material has been altered to contain a segment of a DNA from another organism. So, sige, check natin kung meron bang na-recall or naalala. Pwede nyo munang balikan yung presentation bago nyo sagutan itong short evaluation na ito. So, number 1. The answer is genetic engineering. Number 2. That is recombinant DNA technology. Number 3. Obviously, yan ay letter C. And I leave the 4th and 5th item to you. So, kanina, nabanggit ko that meron na bang pangyayari that ito ay ginawa sa tao na naibalita sa TV? Di ba wala tayong nababalita ang ganun? It's because there is a big issue about ethics in this process. Hindi man sa tao, pero sa animals. There are animal protectors and mga nag-a-advocate ng fair treatment sa mga animals that are being subjected into genetic engineering. So they are raising concern about genetic engineering. So may mga issues pa rin itong genetic engineering na ito. And hindi rin natin masyadong alam pa if there will be adverse effects of genetically modified organism consumption. Because nowadays, sabi ko nga kanina, there are some organisms, specifically plants, that have been modified for human consumption, plant consumption. So may mga pagbabago na may mga ilang organisms na or plant organisms that have been modified. So meron kaya itong effect sa health ng mga nagko-consume nito? So pause and think about this. And for our next lesson, pag-uusapan natin ang benefits and risks of genetically modified organisms. So, magandang araw sa inyo lahat. Happy New Year and maraming salamat.